but every single man in this chat would dominate intellectually.
But do you realize that that's because men are offered greater opportunities of education?
Men do,
Wait, whoa, whoa,
men
whoa,
do
wait,
worse.
hold on.
Men
Hold
do
on.
worse in college.
Wait,
They do
hold on.
worse in college.
Wait,
what?
Maren,
You're
hold on,
literally
Maren.
saying that men are intellectually more smarter.
Wait, Maren, you're saying, can you repeat that last thing you just said?
Men are offered greater opportunities for education than women are.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive.
So just to be, okay, so the statistics would seem to disagree with you.
How so?
Well, ever since it's either 1979 or 1980, there's been more women who go to college than men. That's 4 decades of there being a greater representation of women in higher education. This number today is something like, I think it's 60-40 split.
But if
you look at
also an
universities,
extravagantly high number of college graduates facing unemployment. So
But her
the
claim-
number of people going to college has changed in general.
I don't see how this is a rebuttal to my
America
argument.
has shipped out all blue-collar jobs, so there's a lot less physical labor jobs.
I'm over here, you're way over here. Maren, your point was that there's less opportunity for women as it relates to higher education. Women predominate in higher education. Is this due to sexism against men? Yes or no?
If you look
Let's-
at the, hold on.
Yeah, go
If
ahead.
you look at the
Opportunity till
decades
later.
before, like what, 2010 and all the way through history, all of that time, men have been offered you're nodding your head no. But when were women allowed to even go to college and not like
When did they start?
finishing school?
They've always been allowed to go to university.
Point blank.
I think there are some.
Maybe if you came from a wealthy family where they could afford to send you.
I'm going to be fair. I do believe that, and I don't know the specifics, there were some universities that did bar women.
Some.
But yes, but women were able to go to university. But back to the point here, if you're going way back historically, you're saying it was only 2010 and after where there was some sort of shift when it came to women's access to higher education. It was 1979, 1980. 1979, 1980, when there were more women, that's 4 decades, more women who started going to college than men. So what this means is, so women who went to university in 1979, 1980, they're now retiring. So you've essentially had an entire workforce through the period of that workforce where women started going to university more than men.
Can I see that?
Yeah, we could pull it up. I believe, Mary, go into the Discord. I have it in the, let me just double check here on my phone. I'm pretty sure I have it posted.
Did you go to college?
I dropped out of college.
Which college did you go to? So do you think
I don't see how
education
that's
matters
relevant.
in how you enter the workforce?
But also,
I think
in a
sometimes it can be helpful, I guess.
In a
Just a lot of people,
conservative
but-
household, men are often pushed towards college more than women. Men are,
This isn't true, but okay.
and how do you know that?
How do you know that your claim is true?
Because there's data about it. You can look it up.
Then
Conservative-
if this is actually the case, how could it possibly, repeat your claim really quick.
What claim?
Your claim that I think you said, and correct me if I'm wrong,
A lot
that
of
there's
the
a
time,
greater
men
push.
are more pushed towards furthering a greater education and becoming wealthy than women are.
How could that possibly be true if there are more women who go to university than men?
So you're
How
saying
could that be true?
Because women
that
are slowly starting to try and do
Not
better.
just slowly, since
No, he's saying that the statistics are saying men are going into blue-collar trade, which is
That's-
not university,
No, of course.
and that women are going into higher education, which means the women can become the architects and the designers, and the men can still do
I do
the
have
labor
it, Mary.
jobs.
Pull up the infographics
So,
tab in the
I hope that
Discord.
keeps happening. I hope that grows to be complete.
If you were oppressed for so many years, you're finally gonna have the opportunity
Of
to do
course.
it. So men are failing because it's on their own demerit. They're
How-
playing video games. They're wasting their own lives. They're not trying to have goals like we do.
Wait, so just to be clear, so when men have some sort of negative life outcome, it's due to men's choices, but when women have negative life outcomes, it's due to other men and sexism. So men have agency, women don't. I actually think I have the greater feminist position. Men have agency, women have agency. If there's a negative life outcome, it's not because of some evil boogeyman patriarchy. It's because of women's choices. When men have negative life outcomes, it's often due to their own choices too. To be fair, there are sometimes external circumstances that can push you towards negative life outcomes, but I think a lot of negative life outcomes come down to individual choice. Can you pull it up, please?
Yeah, is it the wage tab?
No, it's all the way to the top. Just go to the infographics tab. Scroll, just pull it up and pull it all the way to the top, please. All the way to the top. Okay, so no, scroll down. It's one down. College. Okay, click on the first one, and we're going to tab through these. So percentage of U.S. population who have completed 4 years of college or more from 1940 to 2021 by gender. So it starts in 1940. Completed. Okay, so this is completed. So this would factor in going even further back. Go to the next one for me. U.S. college degrees by gender, 2017. So this is in 2017. There's 100 males for every 141 females. Male, 41%. Females, 58%. And that's from the U.S. Department of Education, and it includes associates, bachelor's, master's, and doctor's degrees. Next. So this is the year. This is the male enrollment, female enrollment, and the number of more females. So in 1980, there were essentially half a million more females going to university than males. If we go to, I can't see it because we're blocked, but like 2010, there were 7.8 million men enrolled in university and 10.2 million women enrolled in university. 2.4 million more women than men enrolled. That's in 2010. But it goes all the way back to 1980. Next. U.S. college enrollment by gender, 1947 to 2019. Oh, this was the one I was looking for.
Beautiful.
U.S. college enrollment by gender. So if you look there, the bluish one, it's a little hard to tell in one. Bluish one is men. The green one is women. In 1980, that's when the overlap changes. Mm-hmm. So, and even if you look historically, the gap between in 1950, the gap between men and women in 1950s, so there were more men in 1950. If you look at the gap from the 2000s on, or even 1990 on, that discrepancy is greater in favor of women. So there's more women enrolling in university. Next.
I was about to say, can I say something?
Let's get through these. Also, this is men and women study different things. This is sort of related to the wage gap here. But let's just go next. This is for, where is this? Total number of students, undergraduate. This is for I think this is for UCSB. 61% women, 39% men. Next. Percentage of all college degrees, female versus male. That's another one. Next. Total fall enrollment. Same, I think. Next. Okay, this is the University of California system. The gender ratios. Blue, male, red, female. So you see there's an overrepresentation of women in the gender ratios for every single University of California system, with the exception of UC San Diego. There's a little bit more men, and then UCSC looks about equal. Next. And then boys are less likely to earn a high school diploma. Oh, this is about high school. Okay. Less likely to earn a high school diploma, less likely to meet UC California and California State University requirements, less likely to earn a biliteracy seal, less likely to earn a golden, I don't know what that is, but okay. So I don't know, this idea that men are overrepresented in universities has not been the case for 4 decades.
Well, I didn't say overrepresented. I said push towards it more. And really quickly, let me say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think any of this has to do with the fact that men know that they're more likely to get jobs even without a college degree, and women have to work harder to get a job, and they have to have more college education than a man does in order to even get there?
I wouldn't say that that's the reason.
Okay. Well, it could be one, maybe.
I mean, I don't see a difference. I don't think there actually is much of a difference in terms of wages between, let's say both of them have a high school diploma, between a man and a woman. And I think there's actually certain positions where a woman is probably better suited to get, I think, a higher paying job right out of high school than a man. And I'm not even going to factor in sex work to my argument, because I just think that wouldn't really even suit myself. But
work on YouTube and YouTubers, those people don't go to college and they make a lot of money.
Let me quickly
women
ask.
are also,
I'm just saying in general, a lot
social media people too.
I would also love to see the confirmation bias on these articles. You know what I'm talking about?
The ones I just pulled up?
Yeah.
Confirmation bias.
When you look for certain things, you'll find certain things. Was all of this about California, or was it about the entire world?
Some of those were for California. The others were for the entirety of the United States.
Oh, about the world.
Just
The
Just the
world.
U.S.?
Yeah, where I'm talking about, the U.S.
Okay.
But I would suspect this pattern is the same in other Western countries. Now, if you wanted to make arguments about Eastern countries, that's
Totally
not really
different ballpark.
that's not my area of expertise.
totally different
but I
ballpark.
would actually be probably willing. You know what? I'm not sure actually.
We don't have to talk about
because
the
I
Eastern
don't know.
countries.
Well, it could. I could.
talk about religion.
There could be a case that there's more men going to university in some of these Eastern countries, but
Could.
if I was looking at like certain Asian countries, or like India, for example, I'm not actually sure
They come to college
if it's the
anyway.
case. I don't know. So I don't want to make a claim that's just I don't know.
Well, if
Smart
we're
people
not
from other
talking
countries
about
come here.
feminism in the entire world and just the U.S. is way more progressive than the entire rest than most of the rest of
Sure.
the world.